Bună ziua tuturor! Suntem la interviul de Adevarul. Invitatul nostru de astăzi este domnul Zahal Levy, președintele companiei MediHelp Internațional, unul dintre cei mai importanți brokeri de asigurări de sănătate din regiune. Dânsul este totodată unul dintre cofondatorii companiei. Evident, tema discuției, piața asigurărilor medicale private. Este o piață despre care, în general, se vorbește la timpul viitor. Este o piață cu un potențial foarte mare, care deocamdată nu este valorificat la maxim. De ce nu se întâmplă lucrul acesta? Vom dezbate în această emisiune. And now we're gonna switch to English.
Please.
As far as we know, you understand Romanian, but you don't speak Romanian.
I don't know if I can say that I can understand Romanian. I can say that I understand the Romanians.
Okay.
So that goes together with language and with culture issues. I think I'm originally from the state of Israel, and I think there are a lot of similarities between the two nations. As we know, there is a lot of evidence that good friendship is prevailing for many years, both politically, culturally, and others. So I might say that it has been a pleasure to be here in the last 15 years and to be involved in the development of private healthcare enterprises that I was involved in.
In this context that you just told us, the history of Romanian health insurance marketplace, it's relatively new, it's young, and its success is limited. Maybe you can name the most important causes of its insuccess.
I think that it's a mistake to say that there is an insuccess. I don't agree with this, with all respect to you. Please forgive me that I'm not agreeable
Please
about this.
argue your opinion.
I think that this is an impossible environment that was inherited after many years. I don't think that it's my job to teach you the history of your nation, but you know very well that the current administration and the ones that have been in place since '89 have inherited an infrastructure that was neglected for many years, that suffered from lack of leadership, from lack of financing, from lack of standards, from lack of innovative solutions, and was stuck and behind the Western world for a long time. Ever since then, the Romanian state is trying to pull the budget to many directions, and healthcare is a very important topic in your country. And it's very, very difficult to do a lot with the yearly expenditure, which is one of the lowest in Europe per capita. If I'm not mistaken, it's about something like 30 euros per month, but more or less, we're talking about very, very low budget. I think
Which is increasing yearly.
It's increasing yearly, but I think that the rate of increase is relatively small to the increase of the medical inflation, medical costs of technology, and the need of the society. We live in a country where the society is aging. There are more and more old people who live longer in this country, and not only in this country.
Generally speaking.
The technology is becoming increasingly difficult on one hand. And at the same time, we are witnessing a situation that there is a bigger fraction of the society which is getting older. The medical necessity and dependency on the state institutions is about to grow. So the expanded...
What yearly growth rate would be satisfactory for the system?
Look, if you compare, for example, the amount of money that is spent in Germany is 5 times as high. And if you ask the German Minister of Health what is problem number one there, he will tell you money. So every minister,
the lack of money.
Every minister of health thinks that he is under budgeted and that there is a growing need of the society to finance their needs. Obviously, in this country, we are in a very, very severe situation. We are talking about the reform of the healthcare or the reform of the health system. If you would calculate what is the amount of money that is really needed to make a real reform and to renovate all the medical facilities and to efficientize them, in a situation where we have a brain drainage, excuse me,
Yeah.
good brains, good people, good professionals that are growing here. I don't have to tell you that there is a lot of intellect in Romania. They leave the country, they are going abroad. We are losing the investment that the state has made in them in terms of education, and they will probably not come back soon, or many of them will not come back soon. In a situation like this, to say that we have a chance to cure the health system, the sick healthy system, is not really
But
realistic.
let's introduce a little bit the private insurance market in the discussion. How these problems of the whole system impact the market you are acting in?
Well, thank you for the question. I think this is a crucial issue. If we can agree that there isn't any magic solution we agree that we are not going to wake up one morning and everything is going to be okay in the health system. So the health reform that the government is preparing is a very important step, efficientizing the system, creating some new opportunities, jobs, and bringing new technology and know-how is very important. But what is the most important is to inject fresh cash into the system. And that cannot be any more loaded on the taxpayer. Health insurance is, let's say, I don't want to call it a trick, but it can be a very important and clever move in an interim period where the government will have to encourage health insurance provider to sell private schemes of health insurance, international health insurance, to those who can afford it. And there the medical system will be subsidized by the policy, by the insurance policy. And it will be offloaded from the national budget. Let's give it an example. If we had today a situation that 10% of the society, let's say the rich people, would have been policy holders on a private basis, and they would consume healthcare paid by the insurance company, do you know what that would have meant in the national budget if 10% of the people will get off the budget of the national healthcare? It's an enormous amount of number, it's a big number of people, and then the state can relieve the budget into the lower classes of the society who sadly cannot afford to pay for health insurance. So you have here a situation, this is of course not a long-term solution. It cannot be that all the state will move from public system to private system of health insurance because you don't want to create medicine for the poor and medicine for the rich. So also that solution is an interim solution and cannot be in place of the other measures that the country should take.
And, sorry, you intend to say that now the situation is debalanced?
The situation is very severely debalanced. Because if today you go to a hospital and you have to pay with an envelope under the table in order to get basic treatment, that cannot be called balance. And obviously it cannot be that only rich people will have access to medical care. In our company, we are selling programs for private health insurance that are costing from €3 a day. That means that you don't have to be a big millionaire in order to afford it. There are many people in this country who will be happy to know that for €1,000 a year, you can have everything in your healthcare covered by an insurance policy, accessible to any place in Romania or in Europe. It means that if you have, for example, a medical abonnement, you can stop it. You can still go to the same supplier. You can still see the doctor in that medical provider that you are used to. Carry on seeing him, and the insurance policy will cover the expenses. And if there is a medical treatment that cannot happen in Romania for some reason, or Romania cannot offer the adequate standards for it, you can go to another country. You can go to Vienna, you can go to Germany, you can go to England. So that is a big change in what we are used to see until now.
Okay, I was about to ask you about the difference between the health insurance policies and the medical abonnement, and you just told us a few of them. But I also want to ask you about something that we are calling pachetul de bază. in Romania, the statutory benefits package. This is something that maybe the brokers are waiting for. The Ministry of Health promised to establish this statutory benefits package this year. Will this really be the key point that you are waiting for?
It could be a very important step forward, although when I read some of the suggestions, I happened to hear and also read some of the suggestions about what is called in every country the medical basket. There's the package that is offered to the public, which the rest they will have to consume on their own. So obviously we are going to this direction in another door. It means the state will finally admit that it cannot give to its citizens adequate medical care for free and for everybody. It's time that we wake up for this piece of news. The legend that the state of Romania can supply public health care to everybody for free is already yesterday's news. This is not the case, and it's impossible to do this anymore. And as you know very well, in the end, the free medical care is not really free, and it's not really available, and it's not everywhere, and you cannot see any specialist by your choice, and sometimes you have to wait long for your appointment for an MRI or a CT, and not to mention to pay for it dearly. So it's very good that the state is going to declare, this is my obligation, this is what I can afford, and start preparing the Romanian citizens to accept responsibility over their health. Until now, we have this perception, who is actually responsible for my health? It's the state. They are responsible for my health. I don't have to worry about it.
So they have to change our mentality.
I don't want to, the expression of mentality is something that I hear a lot in Romania about our mentality. I think your mentality is very good.
Oh, thank you.
When it comes to, there is no problem of mentality here.
The perspective.
It's a problem of concept. It's a problem of accepting responsibility. The Romanian citizen has to wake up in the morning with knowing that the responsibility for his health is his own. And the country and its facilities is a supporting venue for it. It cannot be that we think that the state of Romania is the owner of our health, and whatever they do, it's okay, whatever they don't do, it's okay, and I'm fine because everything is free. So this type of perception and this type of understanding has to vanish. We can look at some models that are working in some of the countries around the world. There's a very nice model in Holland, which also has some, lately is going through some reforms. There is a very relatively well-working model in the state of Germany, in the state of Israel. As you know, there were some reforms in the United States as well. So you see it's a dynamic subject. Every country is trying to balance between the amount of tax they can allocate to the welfare of health. On the other side, they want to have a healthy population. On the other side, people have to be responsible for their own health and do something about it. Buying an insurance policy, for example, or buying the gap between the basket that is going to be introduced to what you feel that you really want to have. Do you want to have only a basic cover? Do you want to have an emergency cover only in Romania? Would you like to be able to access medical facilities also outside of Romania when you are traveling, or even if you want, what happens when your child is sick and you want to make sure that he can access the best facilities wherever they are, doesn't matter the country or the geographical spread. So there is a lot to talk about, and we have to depart ourselves from the state and once and for all admit the state has to say this. I cannot provide endless amount of healthcare to all my citizens for free, and we have to take the responsibility to ourselves. There should be health insurance providers. Health insurance was always the locomotive for the development of private healthcare. There will be more insurance companies selling healthcare. There will be more private suppliers, because there will be actually fresh cash injected into the healthcare system.
Can you tell us, please, how's the situation in Bulgaria and Hungary?
The neighboring countries are more or less very
situation.
alike in their characteristics, unfortunately. The development of the private healthcare in Bulgaria is very slow, annoyingly slow. Lately,
Smaller than in Romania?
much smaller. Lately, there have been some enterprises about this. We are connected with the Tokuda system, Tokuda hospital system, which is the biggest private hospital. It's a Japanese investment that was very nicely made. Tokuda hospital was made a few years ago in Sofia as an excellence model for the state to follow. They have more than 1,000 beds. It's a very, very big investment. Japanese private people have invested many, many millions of euros in order to create a center of excellence with all the equipment, 24 hours available, emergency services and all the classic professions of medicine, including ambulatory services and private hospitalization. And soon after that, other investors started to be courageous about it and made some smaller enterprises in the market. In Hungary, we saw a very important step that was taken in the end of last year and was reinforced in the beginning of this year, is the tax facilities for health insurance. It's now fully deducted, I think up to 1,300 euros per year. It means people have started to abandon the classical medical abonnement that I think is a national disaster in this country, and started to buy private health insurance. When you have a private abonnement, you are really connected to one supplier. As good as he is, he cannot do everything. And usually what happens is, I'm sorry I have to say this, but owners of companies and company managers are hiding their private medical care for them and for their families in the Medicina Munci arrangement that is tax deductible. And they don't really show that it's actually consumption of private medicine in the form of Medicina Munci or medical abonnement that is sold to companies. This is wrong. It ends up with the fact that the taxpayer is paying for this. It ends up that the people who need Medicina Munci are not getting proper service.
I have a question for you. Why did you choose to build your company in this region? And as far as you know, you intend to expand in Poland and the Republic of Moldova.
Yeah,
it's a difficult region. Why here?
First of all, I was always ambitious to do something in a place where whatever I do makes a difference. So I can be proud, and I think I am proud. As I told you before, in the 15 years that I'm on medical enterprises here, I have created, it's not only me, of course, it was always with co-investors and teams. We have created more than 1,000 jobs here, and we hired up the standards and the know-how of this country in emergency know-how and in diagnostics, now health insurance. And I feel that I'm making a difference. I'm doing something good that one day I will be able to say, I can already say, but I will probably be able to be proud of doing something that I was first to do in all the 3 enterprises that I was involved. When we started to do, we were the first ones. We were the first ones to have private emergency service ambulances in '99 with SOS Medical. We were the first ones to have made excellence centers with GE and Euromedic in 2000, when we've built the 4 biggest state-of-the-art centers of excellence in imaging, and then later on in dialysis. And now with health insurance, we are the biggest in the market. We have the biggest portfolio of health insurance in the market. And it's very, very nice to know that you are doing something. Maybe in the end it's going to be forgotten that we were the first, but I will not forget. And I have something nice to tell my mom, that I'm not that disappointment that she's anticipating.
What about the balance between risk and return here?
We are a little bit slower than we have anticipated. We still hope that we will be able to accelerate our return and exit from the enterprises that we are doing. Obviously, when you're talking about private expenditure, The state of Romania has to be interested that I go back to my country and I tell everybody that I made some money and I left behind know-how and jobs. That is a win-win situation, which is going to make other investors come here and inject money into your economy and into the country, and create even further opportunities, jobs, know-how, and standards. And I think
so you have a private equity philosophy.
Yes, absolutely. We are not doing anything which is not a profit-oriented activity. However, it is usually transparent to the tax authority. We always pay our dues and on time, and of course we are honest with the employees that we have, with the customers that we create, and this should be a win-win situation to the three partners. To the customers who are getting proper service, proper medical care, to the employees who chose to work with us, it should be a career move, and for the owners of the company, at the end of the day,
The stakeholders.
the shareholders have to be happy with what they've done and hopefully have the appetite for more.
Okay. You expect for an exit in how many years? Is it possible?
You know, we don't have a date. It's a matter of
opportunity.
It's a matter of an opportunity. It's also the matter of the timing where I will get tired and my time to retire or to leave my chair to another CEO, which will come replace me with a lot of enthusiasm and new ideas. This is also a stage in everybody's career. I'm not here forever and I should not occupy my position forever. One day somebody has to come and I will be very glad to hand over the steering wheel to a much better president or leader than I am.
You expect this opportunity from a strategic investor, from a big international insurance company?
It should, well, I'm not sure. It will be very nice to sell it to Romanian private shareholders here, and to let them continue. It doesn't have to be something very big and bombastic. I'll be very, very happy to hand over the rule of the company to a local businessman or investor that will be very good and will promise that they will carry the legacy and the standards and perhaps even do better than us in terms of the expenditure.
However, the insurance market is dominated by the international players.
You know, I don't really know if what you mean insurance. Do you mean health insurance? Or
In
do you mean
general, in
insurance?
general.
I don't know. I see that there are also local insurance companies. Many of them are very unhappy with the results and with the growth of the market, and with the legislation that is not always supportive, with the standards that are building up very slowly. But we don't see, I'm very happy to work with locals.
Yeah.
I have to tell you that in the 15 years that I'm here, I think other than 2 or 3 people, in the hundreds of jobs that we've created here, it was always Romanians who took over, very good professionals, wonderful people to work with, that some of them I have a very good respect and very deep appreciation for. They're doing a great job. Even today in my company we have a team of excellent experts that are holding the service and the finances, and the marketing and the sales and so forth.
What else do you expect from the government except the pachetul de bază? What other?
And the tax facilities.
Well,
Yeah.
the government has to encourage foreign investment in private healthcare and in private insurance. That is the guaranteed and only known way everywhere to reduce the burden on the taxpayers' money and to reduce the burden on the government hopeless attempt. Hopeless in the positive way. Maybe the word hopeless is not very good. Let's replace it with a genuine attempt to make a better service, to create a better tomorrow for the healthcare in this country. That can only be with proper tax facilities, with proper management of healthcare that is on a PPP private. That means there is good collaboration between the private sector and the public sector Health insurance must be a strategic player in this, and on this we can help a lot.
In other words, you expect for a more liberal government?
It has to be liberal. There should be, I think, more help to investors like us in order to domesticate them in this. I know about 2 or 3 or 4 companies from abroad that are well-known experts in health insurance that came here and tried to walk into the market, and they were very disappointed with the amount of tax facilities and help that they got as major investors, so they did not invest the money here. They've done this in other countries, and it's a big pity that countries like Poland or even Bulgaria in some cases got very big investments that could not have been done here because of lack of collaboration or dialogue with the local leaders. I think that should be changed. The foreign investor here is a guest. I'm a guest in your country. Sooner or later I will need to evict my place and hand it over to a local. And that should create a dialogue and a big interest from the local leadership to see this happening in a way that there must be a win-win situation and an appetite for my followers to come here and invest even more.
And because our time is almost off, maybe 2 words about the evolution of the market. I mean the medical private insurance market after the implementation of this paquet de bază. It will be a boost, explosion.
I cannot.
Do you see any other big players coming into Romania
Absolutely.
after this moment?
I think if the set of facilities and proper management will come into place in the main points that we have mentioned during our talk, there is no doubt that there will be an increasing interest from health insurance companies and private medical providers to invest in this country. I can tell you that I'm positively surprised with the reaction of Romanians to health insurance policies. In the beginning, we were warned by our partners in Europe, by underwriters like Bupa or other affiliates that we have in Europe, that there will be a misuse of the policy, and people will not understand that an insurance policy is actually not a place to make money, but to protect yourself against medical hazards. We don't have almost at all any forged attempts to get money out of our system by doing things that are not very acceptable by the insurance companies around the world. It means that the Romanian customers have quickly adjusted and brought themselves to respect us and to have us respect them and to have a win-win situation where there is a premium paid, the policy has rules, there are things that they are not allowed to do, and if you are playing by the rules, both sides are happy and usually all the expenses in the medical care are covered. And this is very good news because it means that Romania can become a very good market for health insurance in a matured way. And that is an excellent news for all of us, and I think that we should all encourage this direction.
Perfect.
Thank you.
For today, it's enough. We're gonna continue the discussion another opportunity, maybe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
And goodbye.
for having me. Goodbye.